the day of Saturn, the teacher. Sometimes Saturn can be what feels constrictive, restrictive. Isn't that what teachers feel like sometimes? Especially when they're very authoritarian. So, what you don't heal, you reveal. Because what we don't realize, unless we're using realize, is how much we are so deep in our own shit that we can't see through it or past it. So when you find yourself in a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn situation, the stress response, the survival tactics, just like an animal that feels it's being attacked, you react rather than respond. That's an indicator, a clue, that something is coming up, it's triggering you. Something unhealed, an old wound, come to surface, being served up on a platter, sometimes with a third party. Because when you don't go within, your inner child seeks without some catalyst, some lesson, some impetus, some way of healing an old wound that is still deep within you. And the more we suppress, the more we oppress, the more we're unwilling to confront the deep wound. The deeper it goes, the more it cuts, the more it runs a show. The thing I found about my life is the more I was trying to run from something, the more it was chasing me, the more it showed up to me. The more I tried to defend myself, the more easily I was found by attackers. If I looked for the negative, I was really good at finding it. But also I found that the more I looked for positive, the more I had gratitude, the more of it showed up to me. That when I learned to master my own domain, I was no longer the slave being mastered. Because there is an inner drive. And when you can balance that drive with both your angel and your demon, you embrace all of those aspects you claim to dislike. Often we project out, because when we have pain that's unresolved, we project it and inflict it upon others, not realizing the boomerang effect that occurs. We may project it out, we may inflict it upon another, but it really does come back to us. We can say that person did something to us, but all that is victim languaging. That's casting a spell. It's creating your experience. Are they really doing it to you? Are you giving them that much power? Or are you willing to empower yourself? Take that back and recognize, I have allowed this to affect me. This is bringing up something old. Where does that originate? Can you tap in instead of going without? Can you see the gift and lesson that is being presented? Opportunities, blessings. Lessons are blessings, sometimes without a bow. Because what we don't heal gets revealed through our thoughts, our actions, our reactions, our experiences, and our behaviors. How we treat others is a reflection of how we treat ourselves. Don't become who you hate. Don't become that person who made you feel small by acting that way toward others. Because if we haven't confronted and healed that aspect within us, that is exactly what we play out. We will inflict the same pain upon others that was inflicted upon us. How do you think the bully learned to bully? They didn't just become a bully. They were bullied. They learned at the result of being at the hand of the bully. They hated the bully so much that they became the bully. And instead of confronting that aspect within themselves, they used it as a coping mechanism. They turned it into their behavior, and it was not theirs to take on. It wasn't in their nature. In every one of our natures, we are all nurturers. We innately want to take care of one another. We want to feel valued. We want to contribute. It is a basic human need to connect with one another, to feel valued, to add value, to feel honored, respected, appreciated for what we bring to the table. Basic human needs: connection, love, consistency, inconsistency. It's all normal, and we all seek it, we all desire it. But are we willing to receive it also? And if you can't start with yourself first, it's going to be that much more difficult to extend it to another. Because when we extend it to ourselves, because everything begins with self, when you learn to love yourself, to have true compassion for the person you are and have been too, you befriend and embrace and honor the demon within, make peace with it. Otherwise, that demon will run the show. If you don't make peace with your own inner demons, they will get resentful and they will play games and they will put you in all sorts of self-sabotaging situations to poke and provoke you. Because that's what the demon does, isn't it? The angel on the one shoulder, the demon on the other. The demon says, go do it. Even if the angel's saying, no, we know better. If you don't know how to balance your dark and your light, your masculine, your feminine, your yin and your yang, your true and your false, your bits, your bytes, then you will find you will always be out of balance. Seeking the balance, conscious or unconscious. Because internally, if you don't go within, you will seek without, you will consciously or unconsciously seek ways to heal those aspects that you reveal, that you may or may not want to confront in you, will show up in another human form. They are angels, they are light workers. They may piss you off, but they're not the ones doing it. It's you unconsciously attracting that experience so that you can replay it and heal through it. But because of society and the culturing, the conditioning, the engineering, how we've been taught, it's not your fault. We do have to take a certain role, a certain, this is my personal responsibility in this is my part. Own that. Don't play small. Playing the victim gives your power away. When you empower yourself and own your part and recognize, wow, okay, I actually drew this to me. Go look in the mirror. This is the best way to do shadow work, is to confront yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. Because most people don't want to even look at themselves. They don't like themselves. They'll go and sink into their depressions and will actually isolate themselves from themselves in a way that they don't want to even see themselves. That's a lot of what depression is all about, is not liking yourself. And then that gets seen in the behaviors and how you act toward others. If you dislike yourself, you'll show others through how you treat them by inflicting and projecting it upon them. There's purpose in your pain, and it's not meant to be projected out at others. We're not meant to sling our shit, throwing it at each other and acting like we did this to each other or you did this to me. No, we're all mirrors. We're all here to help each other grow. We're trying to put puzzle pieces together. We're trying to take all of our fragments and create the whole. To stop leaving out these parts we dislike, but to put them back together so we can be a whole person. Not this or that, it's all of it. Just like when you go to a doctor and you have to see a specialist. You're not just that one piece. Even you would have to agree that they're connected. There are meridian lines There are nadis, there are nerve endings that they run throughout the entire body. You can't just take the arm off and say, well, we were going to figure out what's going on in that arm as if it's not connected to anything else. You just can't do that. As much as you might want to try, that's lying to yourself. And the lies that we tell to ourselves are the ones that we are easily manipulated by others. Because if you're telling yourself a lie, you're drawing in the energy that it's okay to deny your own truth. And others will manipulate you by telling you what your truth is, because you're not telling yourself the truth. But see, here's the irony. Truth is actually liberating. No matter how painful it may be, it's relieving. But it will bring pain to some people, because most people are afraid of their own truth. But truth is the agent of change to drive you in the direction of what you desire in this life. And we all want more. Don't deny yourself that. We all deserve more. We all deserve an abundant, rich, joyful life. Don't get caught up in the distractions. Don't get caught up in the noise, the drama. The more you play into the drama, the more trauma it creates in your life. Decide what story you want to create. Decide the life you want to live, and do that. Focus on the solution. Stop playing into the games of creating a story, complaining about something you have absolutely no control of and has no impact on your life. All that does is disempower you. And where attention goes, energy flows. So whatever it is you speak, you create. Whatever you anticipate, you create. It originates with you. And your tongue is like a sword. It is like a wand. And that when you speak, you are wielding a spell. Be aware of the words you choose. Choose well. Don't just throw them out there and just ricochet back like, oh, let's see what happens. Be very mindful. Be discerning. Be intentional with your word. Let your word be your medicine, be your magic. And we are all master manifestors and magicians here. Rely on your words to create your life. Rely on your intention and integrity to uplift and support others. Because as leaders, when you step into your power, you empower others. By being the living example for others to follow, you will inspire. Yes, you may piss people off, but that might just be the catalyst they need. Because you can take inspiration and get a positive charge or a negative charge, and it's the same energy. It's how someone takes it and wields that. Because we are all giving of power, of energy in some way, shape, or form. And I like to say we are all each other's medicine. But just like ciphers, we're unlocking each other's codes. So when our energy comes together, as light beings, when we come together and our energies intermix and we create this cauldron, we are actually creating an unlocking of a spell, of a cipher that's unlocking our codes. It's a beautiful thing to actually sit with. It's really cool. How much you really truly wield and the power that you hold is really mesmerizing, magical. Don't discount it, because we all have it. So even if you encounter someone who rubs you the wrong way, they may be the one person who's the catalyst to get out of your own way. They may be that one person that made you feel small, and you got something in you that said, I'm going to prove you wrong because I know me. And when you know you and you master your domain, this is a big theme right here now. Master your domain as a movement for improvement in your life and the world around you. Because when you heal you, you heal everyone else too. This isn't just a one and for all. This isn't just one for you. It's for everyone. What you heal in you ripples out to the collective. It's a collective collaboration. And just like you've contributed to what you see in the world happening, you are just as easily able to flip that switch and help aid in healing that. But whatever triggers you out in the collective right now is really where you should be doing your work, because it's a perfect mirror setting a stage for you to play your role, your part, whatever it is you choose to do to participate in the collective collaboration, healing. You can try to play small, but every choice you make and every action you take is contributing to the whole. That's why it's a collective collaboration. And in many ways, it's a divine comedy because it's so simple, but we've made it so serious. Animals know. They're still out there chirping birds and flying in the wind is blowing, nature is continuing to live without any interference, except for when we try to interfere. Nature doesn't stop doing what nature does because it doesn't worship man. It knows its part, it knows its role. So why are we so different? You really think we are? I believe we are just as much connected and aligned with the earth, that we are part of nature and nature is a part of us. And nature is always teaching. If you want to learn about yourself, go out and take a walk. Notice how nature inspires us humans. It gives you a spring in your step. The earth meets your feet. You may think you're just stepping down, but it's actually rising up to you too. That if you listen to the wind, it will whisper truths to reveal more to you if you're willing to listen. If you ask a question, you will be answered, but you have to be willing to hear. We take in our nourishment through all five senses. We don't just eat and nourish the body. We don't just breathe and fill ourselves with prana and breath, but we hear things, we see things, we feel things. Tactile, and also we feel and know within, intuitively. Into me I see. Are you willing to dive deep within and foster and nurture the true intuition that is you? Nobody can take that from you. Nobody can do that for you. That's all you. So whatever's going on outside of you, whatever catches your attention, either originated because you were in a mood, or it was something unconsciously you were needing to heal anyway. Because energy goes where attention goes. It will flow and it will capture your attention. If there's tension in your body, it's trying to get your attention. There are all these signs, there's all these guidances designed just for you, just for me, all of us. Get your attention. Whatever it takes, your soul is speaking at all times. It's whether or not you're listening and willing to hear the whispers of your soul, the callings of your heart. Everything you need is within you. So as long as you're willing to heal, that also will be revealed. Because the more you master your domain, starting with the moment, mastering your breath, being mindful, long deep breathing, noticing the quality of your breath, noticing how it brings you into the moment. You can master your mind because then you become an awareness of, wow, these thoughts are coming up. Are these mine? What is this trying to tell me in this moment? What are these thoughts trying to get me to confront, to recognize, to hear? Is there a message that I need to hear? Where is this coming from? Is a memory popping up? Is a song playing in your head? Is there a word that stands out? Whatever it is, it's designed for you. And if you can slow it down, become present in this moment, master your mind, master your life, but start with that breath, because that is the spirit, your connection to source. That's your into me, I see. If you cut off the source, you cut off the spirit, then you're not living. You're suffocating. And that's a painful death. These are the messages of the day I've been sitting with the past couple days. This was a very powerful new moon the other day, and I was really just like, wow. And I really woke up on fire, because something I have been very patient sitting by. You know, the universe is always watching over me, and I know that. And I know how magical my life is. I know the power of the healing that I've done for myself. I know who I am, and I am so confident in that. I am so happy. I am so grateful for this life. For every experience I've ever had has taught me to be the person I am. That I don't have to explain myself to anybody. That I can trust my inner knowing, my inner child, my inner wise woman. We're all in accord. We're all in agreement. And we are together on this planet to inspire others, to lead by example. Because I don't know any other way but to be me. And being true to me, in my opinion, means that it will inspire someone else out there to step into your glory, to your personal power, to not play the victim, but to take that lesson as a blessing and use that pain as your message. Because I know what I've had to deal with. I know my life story. And I love all of it. I embrace all of it. I know my demons, and they are damn good. But they also have served me in such a way to also embrace my light even more. That, yeah, we all make mistakes. We all hurt people, because hurt people until you're healed. And that's when you shine your light the brightest. And that's when you can inspire people and support them in a way that you weren't able to when you were hurting. And that when you recognize how you hurt others, but you were really hurting yourself, that compassion can go to yourself first, and then it's easier to give to others. Because it's all serving. Every experience. To do unto others you would want done unto you. Such a simple truth, the golden rule. That even if you've experienced the worst of adversities in your life, you needed that to recognize what that would feel like, and to understand and understand, to have a deep understanding of yourself, to see the other as you. Because the more you know your demons and your angels, you embrace your light and your dark, you'll do that for others equally. You won't shun somebody. You'll try your best to hold them as much as you can. You cannot make someone see what they don't want to see. You cannot heal or fix someone who's unwilling to do that for themselves. But when the people are ready, when the teacher is there and the student is ready, there you go. You've got a magic alchemy. It will do its thing. Because when the student's ready, the teacher appears, and the two come together. And I'll tell you right now, there is no such thing as a teacher who doesn't receive something in return. Because teachers also receive as they give, and students also teach as they learn. It's the give and the take. It's the ebb and the flow. It's the truth of duality. What comes in also goes back out, and what goes out always comes back in. That's energy in motion. Energy was never meant to stay stuck, stagnant. It's meant to stay in flow. It's meant to keep growing. We're either expanding or contracting at all times. And when you really dive into the reality that this life is all about polarity, that without the contrast, you wouldn't be able to navigate what it is you desire. So of course you have to have the good with the bad, and the bad with the good, and the positive and the negative. That's why I say you should celebrate it all. And don't poo-poo and, oh, woe is me, because the reality is that's your experience, and that's all it's meant to be. You putting meaning behind it is what makes it so sad, makes it suffering, makes it painful, because that's attachment. Anytime you put meaning on anything, you've attached to it. You've created matter. You've made it matter. See how you cast that spell? See how the real magic happens? You want to create something? Put meaning on it. Make it matter. However you want. That's the divine comedy of this life. You can create your suffering and you create your pleasure equally. It's all a choice. And that's the wielding of your power and your spell casting. And how powerful is this life that you have this ability? And we all need our adversaries, because without them, we wouldn't be able to gauge where we're at. You know, like attracts like to some degree, and it also attracts the opposite. And I heard Leo King the other day. I listened to David Lawrence Palmer on the Leo King. He's amazing. I'm just saying, this was hilarious because I'm a Leo. They hate us because they ain't us. And you can interpret that any way you like, because the reality is, if somebody's hating on another person, it's a projection. It's an inflection. It's just the fact that the person is not able to own what it is they dislike in you as a part of them. Anytime we project, we inflict a harm upon ourselves, because the boomerang goes back to you. So try to remember that. If you have a judgment against another person, you can say it's all about them, but you made it about yourself. Because the only way you get a judgment is by comparing yourself to the other person. There's a difference between judgment and discernment. Judgment has more harm behind it, because you are putting something into this dogmatic comparison, this box. You are associating a person, place, or thing with these constrictive descriptors, these words. Whereas discernment is, I need to decide if this is a life or death situation based on some information I have from experience and maybe just knowledge. Discerning whether to cross the street when a car is coming. Judgment is, I don't like her outfit. I don't like that person. I hate this. Like, hate's a very strong word. I grew up with a mother who used to say, you don't hate anybody. You may dislike them, but hate is a very powerful, strong word. My mother taught us that words were very important, to choose your words wisely. And I'll never forget, and it took me years to realize, she wrote down on a yellow sticky, it said, don't look where you don't want to go. And she crossed out the words don't. This was long before I was in the whole self-help guru spiritual world of, law of attraction and all that. She crossed out the don't. Look where you want to go. You see how we make things so complicated? Fixating on the don'ts take us away from the do's. Don't should on yourself. Get rid of the don't and just do. Just be. Isn't that the lesson in this life? So whatever is being revealed to you in this time, being illuminated, because now we're coming off this new moon, it is time to expand. It is time to put in action and allow the fruits of your labors, the seeds to be planted and grow. This is that time. If you have been sitting on the fence waiting to take action, I guarantee I'm not the only one who feels like the fire just got ignited and it's time, baby. If you haven't healed something, work on that. Look in the mirror and confront it. Because what you heal in you will radiate out. And the more you own your truth, the more relief, the more weight off your shoulders. It may be painful. You may have people drop out of your life. You may find out people don't care about you, or they don't support you the way you thought they did. They may disappoint you, and that sucks. But at least if you know the truth, that's relief in my book. I would rather know that someone actually harbors ill will and doesn't support me and doesn't like me for whatever reason that may be. I don't care. It's none of my business. That's for them. That's between them and them, not me. It has nothing to do with me. What someone thinks about you is none of your business. Let that shit go, homie. Because if someone dislikes you, it's really about them. And they made it about you, but it's really about them. They just involved you in their own inner child healing. And they don't even realize it if they're telling you you're the problem. So anybody can point a finger out. Once again, you see me do this all the time. They point a finger at you, they got 3 right back at them. That's 3 times the karma. Anytime you judge someone else, anytime you point a finger and you're pointing that loaded gun, that's 3 times the karma you're bringing back to yourself. Karma is repeating a cycle of behavior, thoughts, actions, reactions. It's why we have generational curses and legacies, unresolved pains. We continue to carry them forward unless we heal them. So heal those pains, heal those traumas for yourself and your family so that it doesn't continue to get carried forward. That's why it's so important that the buck stops with you, as they say. That you put down the sledgehammer and say, no more. Not today, Satan. Right? It's a toxic trickle-down effect is what I like to call it. Because when I was in the military, I learned really well, really quickly, that if you're working in a toxic work environment, it's because the leadership is toxic. Nobody really wants to hear that, but the workplace is a direct result and reflection of the corporate culture. Go up that ladder, see how it is. If it's toxic in your workplace, then it's toxic at the top. And that's everywhere around us right now. You're seeing it in government. You're seeing it in businesses. If you go to a business and the employees aren't happy and they're not smiling, that's a result of the leadership because they are a mirror image and reflection. Why would you want that energy in your food or any of your products that you buy, that you frequent? Go where you're treated best. Put your money where it's going to be appreciated, it's going to grow, because believe it or not, the more your money goes in towards something that is reinforcing a pleasurable, fostering, expansive, happy work environment, that's helping the rest of the collective too. If your money is going toward that toxic space, then that's growing. Be very mindful because we right now are in the biggest time of our lives where we are manifesting masters. We are manifesting in such a way that every time we say something, we are creating that. And whatever we anticipate, we're creating more of it, even in the good and the bad. When we go in, we frequent places, we're reinforcing those places. So if you're complaining about a place, then you're really creating more of that. Why would you do that? Why would you want to be a part of that? Why would you want to be a part of the hate? Remember what I just said in the beginning. Don't become what you hate. If you are frequenting places that you dislike, again, the word hate is very strong. If you dislike the environment, why are you continuing to support it? People do it every day and they never question it because it's just the way it is. See, now you become habituated and addicted to your own drama, and that's what's causing your trauma. That's what causes your suffering. But sometimes people are so deep in their shit, in their pain, they don't realize they're flinging it at everybody. They don't realize they're perpetuating and creating and reinforcing and maintaining it. It's easier to see it from the outside. Yeah, I know. You can see other people's shit and sometimes not see your own, but sometimes that's your own projection too. If you know your own shit and own that, and I know mine, I have a hard time not seeing in other people now. Even when I don't want it to be true, I'd rather be wrong. Unfortunately, a lot of times I'm right. I'm just saying. I don't like to be right, but people reinforce it when they behave in the way that they do. And you can hear the lies they tell themselves between the words they speak. Because your words reveal more about you, as does your behavior and your tone, than you realize. Because your lies are real and they're in there. They're intoned. Again, these are spell casts. And the story you're telling is the life you are creating and reinforcing. I know I'm a catalyst. I know I piss people off. I know I rub people the wrong way. I poke them and provoke them. And it's, back in the day, I have everybody's best interested heart, honestly. I don't like to see people suffer. But I also, to me, think it's a harm to allow someone to be enabled in their pain or their stories. Because sometimes people just want to be re-enabled in their stories. They want to be the victim because it gets them attention. That's part of the addiction. And one thing I learned is that it doesn't serve, and I don't want to be a part of it because I would be contributing to your pain and your suffering. And you're creating it in my life, so why would I invite that? So it is a lonely road sometimes when someone comes to me and asks me questions or doesn't want to hear what I have to say. And that's not my place to decide, but don't come to me if you don't want to hear the answers that I come up with. I'm not here to make you feel bad, but I think a lot of times people don't realize it's them. I don't make anybody feel bad. That's on you. That's you choosing to feel, to be triggered. When you're triggered, that's your work to do. It's not the me, I'm just the catalyst. I'm here to alchemize. I'm here to transform energy. If someone comes at me, I will take that energy and I will transform it and I will reinforce it in some way that's contributing to world. I'm not going to get stuck in it. I'm not going to take stuck energy. I'm going to transform that. I'm going to transmute it. I'm going to use it and harness it for something that needs it. So that's the way energy should be utilized, for creating, not destroying. So remembering also that people are either coming from a place of fear or they're coming from a place of love. A lot of times you're not going to hear whether or not that's love. You'll say it's love because even underlying the whole fear thing is this need for love. It's a fear of not getting love. But when you say it's for the greater good or it's for someone else, you hide behind a scapegoat. You use somebody or something as an excuse for your rationale behind why you do what you do. You're not taking personal responsibility. That's not integrity. All that is hiding behind a story. But if you can own who you are and what you feel, that's some power you can wield. That's some true authenticity. And this is what the life is about, is being in aligned with your heart and soul, not with your ego. Because the ego wants to be right and the heart knows, it feels. And it's all about inclusion as opposed to exclusion. The head will try to exclude you because it wants credit, right? I'm right, you're wrong, versus, oh, I see you, I feel you. I know your truth, but I'll hold you too. Even the heart can turn around and be like, I see your head's talking, but my heart feels you, and it's okay. I feel your pain because you haven't tapped into the love aspect of this, and you haven't been able to recognize the situation for what it truly is. Again, there's always a blessing in the lesson. Just remember, you can't fix others. You can only work on you, and through you working on you, you will inspire others too. Just a fact of life. The Facts of Life. Used to watch that show. Lots of shows, right? So again, just lighten up, let shit go, and let your light shine. Isn't that what life's about? Joy. Otherwise, you're being hijacked. And it's usually up in your head. You're hijacking yourself with the story created. Why not illuminate the world with your happiness? You're playful. Let your inner child out and have fun. There's so much to this life to be happy and grateful for. And I woke up this morning even more grateful than I've ever been, because patience pays off. And when you know the universe has your back, the universe will surprise you and delight you in such mysterious, magical ways, even if you're anticipating it, because you're creating it. When it happens, you're like, yeah! It reinforces and reminds you how powerful you are. And that's what happened for me this morning, and that's what I wish for you. So take this energy, take this transmission, and my love for you to thrive in all you do, and go out into the world and shine your bright light. I love you. I believe in you. You are here to shine. Shine on, baby. So much love. Many blessings.